Hello friends, this is Normal here for Technique, and in this video we're going to compare two mid-range phones, the ASUS Zenfone 3 Max, the ZC55KL variant with the Vivo V5. So these two phones are priced 18K in India, so exact same pricing, but they differ a lot in the specs and also the features being offered. So we'll do a detailed comparison of these two phones and decide which is the better device to buy based on various aspects like the design, build quality, the software performance, camera and also the battery life. So let's get started with a comparison. So first step, let's see the design and build quality. In terms of design and build quality, we would say both are quite good looking device out there, curved edges and pretty good looking out there in terms of the fit and finish. But having said that, you could see that the ASUS Zenfone 3 Max has a metallic chassis and a unibody construction, while it's a plastic polycarbonate finishing on the Vivo V5. Vivo V5 does give a feel that it's a metallic chassis, but it's in real made of plastic finishing. So build quality wise, you would say ASUS Zenfone 3 Max has better build quality because it's a metallic chassis and looks pretty premium as well. But Vivo V5 also looks quite good looking, and overall fit and finish also looks quite good. But having said that, we would say the ASUS Zenfone 3 Max is slightly heavier than the Vivo V5, which gives a really lightweight feel because it's a plastic finishing, and overall looks are also quite good. So that is a design and build quality aspect of these two phones. So now apart from that, we also can see that Vivo V5 has a front facing fingerprint scanner, while it's on the rear panel on the ASUS Zenfone 3 Max. Other than that, both are quite similar in terms of the hardware being offered. Now we also have a backlit back button and multitasking button on the Vivo V5, but on the ASUS Zenfone 3 Max it's not backlit. So that was the design and build quality aspect. So we would give it to the ASUS Zenfone 3 Max for the metallic build quality. Now let's move on to the display. So here we have 5.5 inch screen size on both these devices, but there's a difference in the resolution. We have a 5.5 inch full HD display, that's a 1080p display on the ASUS Zenfone 3 Max, which actually looks quite good with 450 nits of brightness, and the resolution is also really good. Now on the other hand, Vivo V5 has an HD display, that's a 720p display. It's not as sharp and vivid as the ASUS Zenfone 3 Max, but it definitely is a good display. It's an HD panel and IPS LCD panel with Corning Gorilla Glass. Now Vivo V5 also comes with a screen guard install that's available in the box packing. So in terms of the display quality, we would give it to the ASUS Zenfone 3 Max because it has a full HD display when compared to the HD display on the Vivo V5. Now let's talk about the software and the performance. So here we have two UIs which are custom UIs, and on top of Android 6.0 Marshmallow we have the ASUS Zen UI 3.1, and we have the Vivo's Fun Touch UI on top of Android 6.0. So first let's talk about the Zen UI. So this is the latest Zen UI 3.1, and it does come with some additional features, and it's a polished UI, and we also have some added features like Zen customized settings, Zen motion, fingerprint scanner, easy mode, kids mode, and support for themes. You can download additional themes available, and there is also a lot of customization options included, like changing icons, wallpapers, then you can lock apps, so a lot of preferences are included. Then there is also a mobile manager available in this UI, which provides you with added features including data saving, power saving, improving the performance. So a lot of features are included in this UI, so it's quite good UI, and has some custom options as well. But the major issue with this device is that a lot of bloatwares are included, so a lot of unnecessary apps are included. So that's one reason the ASUS Zen UI is still not up to the mark because of this reason. So some of them are uninstallable, but some are you can only disable. So that's the UI on the ASUS Zenfone 3 Max. Now talking about the UI on the Vivo V5, we have this Fun Touch UI. So Fun Touch UI comes with a lot of additional features. You can see smart motion is there, smart multitasking. You can run two apps at the same time on the screen, and it is supported on quite a lot of apps. There is one-handed UI, super screenshot, and a smart click option. So these are some additional options included in this UI, and you also have support for themes. You can download additional themes, so lots of themes are included. So again, customization is a priority here. There is also iManager, which is similar to the mobile manager on the Zen UI, and we also have the options to manage apps, power manager, phone cleaner. So it is again a good UI, but considering the amount of features being offered, we would say the ASUS Zen UI has slightly more features, but again, as I said before, there are lots of bloatwares included in the Zen UI, but while on the FunTouchOS that's not available. So it's a mix and match in terms of the software, so you have to choose which is better based on your needs. The Zen UI has an app drawer and comes with a lot of additional features, but on the Vivo V5 it's a multiple home screen, so it's up to you to choose which is better device to buy. And you can see the options are quite different in the FunTouchOS when compared to the Zen UI. So that's the software aspect. Now talking about the performance. So here we have two processors which are mid-range processors and not the best out there in this price segment. We have the Snapdragon 430 octa-core chipset on the ASUS Zenfone 3 Max, which is coupled with 3 gigs of RAM and 32 gigs of storage. On the other hand, the Vivo V5 has a MediaTek chipset, which is MT6750 octa-core chipset, and it is coupled with 4 GB RAM and 32 GB storage. Now talking about the performance aspect of these two phones. So neither of them have a really powerful chipset for a device priced 18K, but they are quite good in terms of the overall day-to-day experience. And when we tested both these devices, you could say that both are quite good in terms of the overall performance being offered, and they do the almost all tasks without much issues, and they do perform pretty well in day-to-day experience. Now talking about the gaming experience, both are quite average or slightly above average performance in terms of the gaming experience. Neither of them are really great in terms of the gaming experience, but they do offer decent gaming experience, and the overall performance looks quite decent, although they are not really powerful chipsets in this price segment. So that's the software and performance aspect. Now we have dual SIM cards, micro SD card, and 4G LTE capabilities on both these devices. So that's the software and performance. Now additionally, we have a fingerprint scanner on the rear panel, while it's on the front panel on the Vivo V5. Now talking about the fingerprint scanner experience, we would say the Vivo V5 is quicker in unlocking the device than the ASUS Zenfone 3 Max, and the Vivo V5 performance of the fingerprint scanner is really good. Now apart from that, other abilities of this device include hi-fi audio support on the Vivo V5, which has a dedicated audio processing chipset that makes the audio performance via headphones really good. So if you're a person who loves listening to songs, then Vivo V5 is definitely the better choice out of these two devices. Now looking at the benchmark scores of these two phones, you can see that the Snapdragon 430 is a slightly more powerful chipset, not by a huge margin, but still it's a slightly more powerful chipset. But the advantage for the MediaTek 6750 is, on the Vivo V5 is that there is plenty of RAM available. There's 4 GB RAM available, while it's only 3 GB RAM on the ASUS Zenfone 3 Max. Now the call quality and the other speaker performance also looks quite good on both the phones. Now let's move on to the camera. So this is one area of the Vivo V5 is really good because it has a 13 megapixel rear camera and a front facing 20 megapixel camera with moonlight selfie. On the other hand, we have a 16 megapixel camera on the ASUS Zenfone 3 Max with a laser autofocus and dual tone dual LED flash and an 8 megapixel front facing camera. Now let's have a look at the camera UI, and you could see that both the camera UIs perform quite well, and there are lots of additional features in offer. You could see that there are lots of modes are available on both these devices, but the ASUS Zenfone UI is slightly more feature rich and offers additional options as well. But having said that, both these devices perform quite well in terms of the camera experience. Now talking about the photos taken with these two phones, here you could see that as I said before in our review of the camera review of the Zenfone 3 Max, the photos are slightly yellowish in the Zenfone 3 Max, while on the Vivo V5 the colors look quite good. Neither of them produces really great abilities photo quality, but they have average quality, and in terms of the daylight shots and the rear camera performance, we would say the Vivo V5 is our choice in terms of the camera performance. And in terms of the selfie experience, again the Vivo V5 produces really good selfie experience, even though the ASUS Zenfone 3 Max also produces decent experience. The 20 megapixel shooter on the Vivo V5 is definitely better than the ASUS Zenfone 3 Max. So in terms of the overall abilities of the camera, we would give it to the Vivo V5, even though Vivo V5 does not have a dual tone dual LED flash or laser autofocus. Those two things are available on the Zenfone 3 Max, and also Zenfone 3 Max features electronic image stabilization. So even with those features, we would say the image quality was not really that great, and Vivo V5 is our choice in terms of the camera performance. Now finally talking about the battery experience. So the 4100 mAh battery on the Zenfone 3 Max is more powerful and better than the Vivo V5, which comes with 3100 mAh battery. So even with the capacity, you could see that the Vivo V5 is slightly behind the ASUS Zenfone 3 Max in terms of the overall battery performance. And here we have an added feature for the Zenfone 3 Max. We have an reverse charging functionality. So we have an OTG cable already included with the device, so you can use that to charge other devices. So that's an added feature available on the Zenfone 3 Max. So in terms of battery performance, it's the ASUS Zenfone 3 Max which is the winner. Now we have talked about almost all aspects about these two phones. So which is a better device to buy here? So first we list out the pros of these two devices. So first up, the ASUS Zenfone 3 Max, which has a good display, good build quality, and the software is feature rich, and the battery is really good, and it also has a reverse charging option, and the processor is also slightly more powerful than the MediaTek chipset. Now the cons of the ASUS Zenfone 3 Max include camera performance not being that great, and also there are lots of bloatwares included, and the processor is not really that powerful for a phone priced 18K. So that were the pros and cons of the ASUS Zenfone 3 Max. Now talking about the pros and cons of the Vivo V5, we have a really compact device, lightweight device. It has a decent display, the software is good performing software, and comes with a lot of additional features. It has 4 gigs of RAM, that's one added feature. Then there is an hi-fi audio, that's a dedicated chipset for audio processing, excellent fingerprint scanner, good cameras, both the rear and front cameras are good, and it also comes with a good overall performance as well. Now the cons of the Vivo V5, we would say it does come with only an HD display. It has a plasticky build, even though the design looks quite good. It is a plasticky build, and also the MediaTek chipset is not really powerful chipset for this price segment. So those were the pros and cons of the ASUS Zenfone 3 Max and Vivo V5. So both these devices are priced 18K. So which is the better device to buy here? So there is no clear winner in terms of the overall aspect of these two phones. We would suggest you to pick the best device based on your priorities. So we have listed out the pros and cons of these two phones. So based on which is your priority, we would suggest you to pick these devices, because neither of them are really powerful devices in this segment, and you are spending almost 18K for these two devices. So there are also better alternatives available in this price segment. So we also suggest our readers to have a look at the other options available before choosing one of these devices. So those were the pros and cons, and also the detailed comparison of these two phones. So hope you like this video. Don't forget to hit the like button and also subscribe to our YouTube channel for more videos. Thanks for watching this video. Hope to see you in our next video. Have a great day.